Hi and hello, watch fans, and welcome to another edition of the Real Time Show. With me, your friendly neighborhood jeweler, Alon Joseph. I have Hakim El Kadiri. I'm very honored and proud to welcome you to the studio. How are you, Hakim?
I'm really fine. Thank you, Alon.
Where did I find you in the world today, Hakim?
I'm based now in Neuchâtel, so close to Neuchâtel. It's in fact Saint-Blaise, really close. It's 5 kilometers from Neuchâtel. And I'm in my office.
Thank you so much for making the time to sit down with me. We are recording this on a day before we have the announcement on when this episode airs, because it's a big day for both you and I, but we're going to keep the best for the end of the episode. So we're going to force our dear listeners to listen to the whole episode. Before we get to that, Hakim, please do an intro, who you are, and why you started Elka Watch Company, ELKA.
Oh, that is a long story. So, first of all, I was working for many years in the watch industry. So I started it in 98, working for different brands. And so the first one was called Swatch. Then I was working for Hamilton. And this is where I met you, Anona. So that was in 98, something like this. No, sorry. It was in 2008. We have the first meeting together. And then after that, I was working for Radu. So after, all these years in this group, so I wanted to leave it and I wanted to develop my own brand. So that was an old dream. So I wanted to do that since years. I wanted to become really an entrepreneur. Someone who can do everything from thinking to develop the product, to develop the market, to develop the marketing, to develop everything. So I was dreaming about doing something like this. So then I started, that was exactly 1 year ago, I started my Kickstarter on the 1st of June 2022. Okay, today we are the 1st of June 2023. It's exactly 1 year I started my project, and that was really exciting period, and it's still exciting.
Thank you for that. And you are a gentle soul, a very modest man, and super friendly, and you did it very quickly, but you have actually an amazing track record. And you are right. We did indeed meet the first time in 2008, because I remember that vividly. Because Ace Jewelers became the first authorized watch dealer for e-commerce by the Swiss brands. And one of them was indeed Hamilton. And I remember vividly that I was invited by the CEO and the whole management team. I was Matthias Breschamba back then.
Right.
And I met you, Sylvain Dola, and actually the whole team was there. Vivian was there, who's the CEO today. And the funny thing is, somebody pointed out to me recently that there is proof of our friendship that runs more than a decade, because there's a video of you and me at Basel World 2010 on YouTube. So you guys can Google Ace Jewelers Hakim El Kadiri and you'll find a YouTube movie of Hakim presenting a super cool watch, which was called the Time Player. So that's a proof that we know each other and we go way back, but it's indeed 2008 because you guys flew me into Hamilton HQ in Biel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super cool. But I want to actually go back, Hakim, because I know you worked for Swatch, and before that you even worked for semiconductors and a company called Transfluid, which I don't even know what you did there. But for our listeners, they're all watch geeks. Let's talk about Swatch, because in 98 you started at Swatch. So let's walk me through that, then Endura, then Hamilton, then Rado, and then we'll talk about Elka again. And for our dear listeners that are listening, in the time being, some of them like to Google or type in websites. The Elka official website is elkawatch.ch, elkawatch.ch, which stands for Switzerland.
Yeah, okay. So I started in 98. That was the 1st of January when I started at Swatch. So I was coming from a different background. So I had a background of technician in machine industry. So I was working for the semiconductors, and I wanted to leave this field to have something which is a little bit more sexy. So something that is, first of all, something is more at the international level. So like, watch industry, if you talk about watches all over the planet, so you can think about watches, chocolate, cheese, or banks, or insurances. But the most sexiest part was working for the watch industry. So at that time, that was really, really, really difficult to start working in the watch industry if you didn't have any background in the watches. So then I had the chance to start at Swatch, and I started as junior product manager. So something really, really interesting. So I had no idea about the design, no idea about the marketing. So my only knowledge was, I would say, on the technical field, and also, the technical marketing. And so that was really interesting because at that period, so I was painting, I was doing some photos, I was sculpting. And so that was really my passion out of the job. And then when I started working for Swatch, so I could, I had the chance to mix my passion that is developing, creating, and also the job. So that was really nice period. I learned a lot. So that was really good school. So it was all, interesting, working there, creating, having ideas and developing ideas. So that was a school that you had to do things fast, but think well. And so then I started like a junior product manager for a part of the Irony watches. Okay, so I started by the lady, the big models, and then slowly I took over responsibilities of the whole collection of Irony skin, and then I ended also with all the special projects like the James Bond wallet with the 20 watches, and the Olympic Games and things like this. So it was really interesting. And frankly, I learned a lot during that period. I stayed there, for a bit more than 4 years. But at that period, just right after, so I wanted to learn something more, because here, of course, it was a big company. So then, of course, so you can develop things, you can go ahead also with all the projects, but there are a lot of people working all around, and everyone has his position. And at the end, I wanted to learn something different and to have a bigger overview of the project that I was handling. So that was the reason why I asked also joining Hamilton. The brand was previously in the United States, and the brand came in 2001 in Switzerland, and then I had the opportunity to join Hamilton in 2002. That was really exciting because that was a small company. So the company came from the USA in 2001. The team was only handled by 5 people. So the president, the responsible for the marketing, responsible of the finance, and so we were overwhelmed by Rado at that time. So we were in a small house just close to Rado. That was a 2 stories building. Yeah, it was a small garden house, we could say, and only 5 people to handle the company. In fact, this is what exactly I wanted. Something, a company where, the whole team is together. So you don't need to have meetings, tons of meetings. To go ahead, you can think and do. And this is what I like. And this is also, why I also created my brand today. So it was really interesting because you had an idea, you could talk with the boss another time. So that was Holger Damen, the boss of Hamilton. And after that, so after 1 year, so Mr. Brechen took the position of president of Hamilton. And from that, so we were at the beginning 5 people. Today, I guess there are almost something like 50 people. And I would say probably today it's not anymore the same company. It was like working for a startup, but in the group. And in the group, so you have the capabilities, you have the possibilities also to develop. You have, the strength of the group, but you have also the structure of the small company to go ahead to think, to do. Without, all the I would say politic problem you could have in a big company. Then here, so the idea was really to change completely the look of the brand. So we had a lot of old models. So the design of Hamilton at that period was really kind of old vintage American watches. So the style was a little bit outdated, and so we had to change. So the first strength of Hamilton was the khaki, and the khaki is still today something really, really, really strong. And so we started by khaki. So we had the chrono, we had the mechanicals, we had the automatics, and slowly. So we created from the old pieces, we created also novelties, something a little bit more in the trend of the period. And slowly, so each year, I had the chance to be able to develop product like you said before, Alan. So the Time Player or the Space Odyssey, or products like this that were really interesting. Some products that were more iconic, something that people could see, people could imagine, because there were also pieces that were in movies, but of course, pieces that were not selling like hotcakes, because they were complicated in terms of design. But they were pieces that you were collecting more than wearing, and that was something interesting, because you need to have sometimes iconic pieces. Sometimes you need to have pieces that are talking to the people, talking to the press, and that makes the buzz. And of course, at the end, you are going to sell the product that are more commercial, something that is going to pass over the years. They are not going to be outdated too quickly. So there are really two ways of doing products also in the watch industry, but I would say, also in car industry and all the industry.
For our listeners that are not that familiar with the brand, Hamilton is an American brand, or was historical, very historic brand.
Created in 1892.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Made very important watches for railroads, U.S. Army, very iconic designs as well. Swatch Group bought it at a certain point. I don't remember the year. Maybe you can help me out there, Hakim.
I think it was around 1972, if I'm right. So that was, it was just after the crisis of quartz or something like this.
Yeah, so it should have been later, because SMH was formed in the beginning of the 80s. But okay, it's quite some time now. It's produced in Switzerland. You guys kept the American heritage alive. What I wanted to ask you is, how come Hamilton had such strong ties to both aviation and Hollywood?
So with the aviation, so that was something that, we had, different watches. So we had the watches for, the field, the khaki field. We had the watch for the Navy, and we had the watch also for the aviation. So we created a lot of models, like the X-Wing, X-Copter, and different products like this that were connected to the aviation. So that was, in fact, I would say, a development of the product that pushed also the brand to be loved by pilots, and that was more, I mean, the design of the watch that helps to go in that direction. And so that was for the aviation. For the movies, for the cinema, you know that so the one watch was worn by Elvis Presley, so the iconic one. Then there were a watch called the Space Odyssey that was also used in 2001, the Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. So they did at that period only one prototype. In fact, I think it was 5 prototypes for the movie. And after that, so that started really, I mean, to be the watch of Hollywood, the watch of the cinemas. I think that started really early, and in fact, also the brand was in the USA, and they had a really good connection and collaboration with Hollywood.
Very interesting to hear, and there's so much pedigree there. As a product developer, did you find that a burden or actually very inspiring to work with such iconic watches and history?
It was really inspiring. So, you know, I mean, if you have something in hand, and I had a book also of the brands, and an old book where you can find, I mean, all the watches created. You know, I mean, Hamilton was at that time the biggest watch company in the world. So they had something like 6,000 workers. I mean, for the company that was based in Pennsylvania. And so they created a lot of things, a lot of different products. And I would say also, I mean, that is going to be also my way of thinking. In the 60s, the brand was really strong. And in the 60s, everyone was creating. So the design was freely an open page. So nobody was stopped by a design. So everybody wanted to create. So it was something really free. I mean, all the design were accepted, I would say, and everyone tried to do things. And I love this period because there were no breaks in designing, in creating. So all the shapes, all the structure, all the movement, everything was possible at that period. So for architects, for creators, for designers, for industrials, for engineers, everyone could have designed any type of product. And frankly, I would say Hamilton was really nice to work for.
I can imagine, and I've been there, so I've tasted the vibe. The last thing I wanted to ask you about Hamilton is, for those that work in the industry, many of our listeners actually work in the watch industry. They know that Swatch Group doesn't have a startup mentality. It's very much a hierarchy and big, a lot of entities, but run like a corporation. How come you guys had that unique corporate culture, subculture within the Swatch Group that actually at Hamilton did whatever they wanted? I remember the offices were near Eurolog, so the distribution center for Europe for the watches, which you guys took me to, which was very fascinating to see. And how come that culture was there at Hamilton? Because it was very much fun. It was almost like Swatch.
Yeah, I would say that is okay. So we were really small. So I told you before. So we were only 5 people working in that in that company. So I mean, for the group, also 5 people. If you can imagine, I mean, the Swatch Group was at that time something like 32,000 people working for the group. So the company was almost unknown. So nobody took care about this company because it was really small. And so we could try to develop things, and we were not under the radar. And that was really a big freedom working for this company. And I would say probably that was the only one in the group that was so free also to develop and to be able to create.
Do you want to share a bit more about Hamilton, some inside views, some things we don't know, or do you want to move on to your next move with Rado after almost 9 years at Hamilton?
Yeah, so let me go to Rado. Probably I will come back to Hamilton later on. Depends. If you have any question or anything. So I would say that was really Hamilton. That was really my love brand. I would say I love the type of product, the type of watches, and that fits perfectly also to the things I like. So on the period, the design, the look, and everything. So that was really, I think, my loved brand, I would say. But let's talk about the next one. So then I left. So after 10 years at Hamilton, so I had to do something else. I wanted to see something else, to understand something else. Then I left because I was asked to join Matthias Breschen, who was appointed president of Rado, and then so we were there at Rado. At the beginning, I told to Matthias Breschen, so that is a brand that I don't understand. I understand Swatch, I understand Hamilton, I understand a lot of brands, but Rado, so I had no, no feeling about the brand, because I went in the shop and I wanted to see, what was the look of the product. And I had the feeling that on the display, so among 50 watches, so you had only one piece, because they were all black, they were all minimalistic, they all had the same look. So, and then I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't join the company because I don't understand it. And then Mr. Breschen told me, so, you don't have to do like the watch that you can see today in the collection. You can do whatever you want and what you know to do. And then so I said, okay, let's try. And I joined. That was in 2011. Rado. That was a new period, because I had a bigger team, and so all the project were a bit different. So I was thinking about developing watch, like developing a watch in stainless steel or in plastic, but that was more complicated because it was ceramic, and the ceramic is really, really complicated to manage if you don't know how to manage that. So at the end, it's a nightmare. So you have a lot of problems. Of course, in the group, there is a company called Comadure, and with these people, at Comadure, with the knowledge they had, so that was easier to develop also product. Even though if I was thinking, as I said just before, developing product like developing watch in stainless steel, in one way that was a good point, because I had no barrier in developing pieces in ceramic. But so I was thinking like in stainless steel. Of course, I had to do some compromises in terms of design, in terms of look. But at the end, so we could change also the look and feel of the brand. I guess at the end, after the 10 years that I was working for this company, I think the look has really changed. We went to a product and also an image and also a communication that was a bit more fancy, modern, trendy, more lifestyle, more urban also than before. And I guess today, the collection has a really nice look, and I hope they are going to continue also in that way, in working with designers, in working with the design, and working with something that is going to please to the people of today.
So you spent over a decade there, 10 years and half a year, 10 and a half.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah, 10 and a half, 11, so something like this. Yeah.
Were you incremental to that huge pivot that Rado did, tapping back into the back catalog, bringing back retro models like the Captain Cook?
Yeah, I think at the beginning the idea was really to change and to bring like the hyperchrome, to bring the true, to bring the diamaster, to bring pieces that were more, as I said before, more urban. It's something that was pleasing. So I think all the people, all the retailer, all the customer, they were happy to see a move also in the design. Then what I like to do, because also Rado is not an old brand, but what I did at the beginning was to take the design from the past, from the 70s or something like this, and to redesign them, to bring from the past model something a little bit more modern, more contemporary. And slowly, I wanted also to talk also about the old model, not only to bring the novelty, not only to bring something new with the picture of the old, but I wanted also to bring a kind of a replica of the old model with new technology, new materials, of course, like the Captain Cook, so with the bezel in ceramic, like the chevet box, a sapphire crystal instead of the Ezalite glass or anything. So everything was taken from the past to create a new model, which was something new in the collection, but with a limited edition of a replica. And that was really interesting. And this is where also I started, developing things like the Golden Horse, the Captain Cook, other pieces like this. But it is also my philosophy in terms of design that I have also today with Elka.
We used to be Rado dealers for many decades, and we had actually, if I had to generalize, top three buyers, top three clients. Either Dutch locals that loved design, and they would buy the Integral, full ceramic, straight lined tank wheels on your wrist, or Indians or Colombians.
Okay.
Those loved Rado. For our listeners that are not that familiar with that brand, it's Rado, and you can find it at rado.com. They used to be the kings of ceramic, and maybe the only producers before ceramics became trendy. Very innovative. And I think you guys made a critical pivot when you were there at Rado, because other brands started to step on your domain with ceramics, and you guys brought back the heritage with amazing watches. And I still love today these collabs they do with designers, the square ceramic watches. There was a yellow watch, I forgot the name.
Teichhuan.
Yeah.
That was a Rado 2 Square with Teichhuan, yeah.
Yeah, which was is a very cool watch. So compliments to you. After, if I count correctly, you spent from 98 to 2021 at the Swatch Group. Before we go to your entrepreneurial era, the chapter of being an entrepreneur, let's summarize your amazing history at Swatch Group, which you lived a beautiful heritage and left your mark. What are the things you learned there in a positive and a negative thing that you took with you as an entrepreneur? So what were the upsides and what were the downsides as well?
I think so. The positive points. So there are a lot of positive points, and I would say most of them are only positive. I when I started working for Swatch, as I said, it is something that you have to create. So every 6 months you have to launch pieces. So today, I mean, this is a bit different, but at that time, so we had something to create something like 120 watches in irony for the whole year. Means, okay, so you have every 6 months to launch 60 pieces. So that was short. So you had to think a bit in advance. What is going to be the trend? What is going to be liked by the customer? What would be the next point? You have to be ahead, but you don't have to be too early, because I mean, if you are too early, nobody is going to understand also where you are going, and also the trend, and nor the colors, and or something like this. So that was really the best school I did, even more than going to the university. I think it was really interesting, fast, no time to think twice, and really learned maximum within Swatch. So yeah, nothing to blame about this company, and nothing to say in a bad word. You are
It's no more looking for bad words.
no, I don't.
Being big makes you slow, right? We
Yes.
already said
Yes,
we already
but it is what we think. But here, Swatch is quite big, I would say. But frankly, I mean, no time to be slow. No time to be slow. And this is good because it keeps you really young in developing products.
Interesting. So, would you interact with late Mr. Hayek and his son Nick Hayek Jr., his sister Nala, or her son Mark Hayek? Would you interact with them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, every 6 months, I mean, for Swatch, so we had a meeting also to present. That was with Mr. Hayek Senior. So we had to present the collections. So that was every 6 months, and so we had to present the collection. That was the only moment that we had meeting with the family. Later, I mean, with Hamilton or Rado, so we had a closer collaboration for meetings, for presentation, for I mean, to have guidelines also. I mean, in terms of product or marketing with.
How would that go? Just give us a little bit of insight. Was it tick tack tack, very quick? If they didn't like it, they said no, boom, scratch, and you had to go back to the drawing board, or
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it was really fast. So I mean, and I mean, from senior or junior, it was not exactly the same way of communication, but usually it was quite fast. So I mean, you can either do it or you cannot do it. So sometimes you had to revise your copy, and so to go back to work again on your project.
how detail oriented were they? Did they literally go down to the zero point 0.1 millimeter of specifications of things?
No, at all. No. That was more, I mean, about the design. If we're on the right track, I mean, the Swatch Group has something like 20 different brands and different price segments. But the idea was really not to overlap brands one on the other one. So in terms of communication, so everyone has its own communication, like you said before. So for Hamilton, that was aviation, that was the cinema, that is really for Hamilton. For Rado, that is ceramic, that is design. So everyone has his own communication. In terms of design, also in terms of logo, everyone has a kind of liberty, I would say, liberty also to work. Everyone is different. Everyone is, in bracket, fighting against the other brands. But the meeting we had also with the family was really not to have a problem between one brand to another one. So we couldn't launch more or less, I mean, the same product as Longines or Omega would have done. So you understand?
Definitely, it's the Swatch Group pyramid, which is very known in marketing terms and in the watch industry. But you know what? We can talk for hours about it. We would love to have you back on the show. I kind of very excited to go into your most recent chapter. So almost 2 years ago, you decided to start Elka. Why the name Elka?
It's I mean, everything, I mean, with this brand is interesting. Everything is like it is like stars that are just aligning. So my nickname is Elka. Okay, and once I said, okay, let's develop a brand. And in fact, I was not thinking about developing the brand Elka at the first beginning. So I wanted to buy another name, and that was an American brand, which was really close to Elka. And so the name of the brand was Elgin, because okay, that was, as I said before, I loved working for Hamilton, and Elgin was created at the same period as Hamilton. They were doing also railroad watches. They had also army watches and things like this. And I was thinking about taking this name, and but this name was already taken. And then I said, okay, well, okay, why not? Okay, taking something like Elka Watch and Co. I love this. It sounds well. I mean, you need to have a name that is really nice to understand, that is going to be pronounced by everyone in every language. And then I said, okay, why not Elka? So, I mean, my friends are calling me by my nickname Elka, because I mean, it's really the short name of El Kadiri, my name. And then also, I mean, and then so I was looking at the list. I was looking at different lists of old brands, and then once, I mean, I felt on Elka Edouard Louis Kick from Amsterdam, and that was a revelation. I was trying to look who was owning the name, and okay, nobody. I mean, that was, I mean, discontinued in 2012. I mean, the name was not protected anymore. And then I was looking also at what Elka have done, I mean, in the past. And frankly, products that are interesting. The brand was created in 1877, so it's really, I mean, old brand. And Mr. Kick was the watchmaker of the Queen Juliana. But they did a lot of product. Of course, at the beginning, that was pocket watches. And in fact, the pocket watch was also the first start. So the first watch, the first Elka I bought, and I took the first watch, I took a picture of the side of the product, and suddenly I had the idea, okay, I will start my design by the shape of an old pocket watch. And if you look, I mean, at the Elka watch that I'm doing, so the shape is really based on the idea of the pocket watch. I didn't find books about all the product. So it's really hard to find information about Elka. I went to the Museum International de l'Horlogerie à La Chaux-de-Fonds. I went to different places. I tried to find archives. I only find things on forums on internet. And I found a lot of different designs. So they did, I mean, you can see, I mean, all the ages, all the period, you can find products that are interesting. And then they had also collaboration, because in the past, if it was in the watch industry, in the car industry, in everything. So in every type of field, there were a lot of collaboration. I would say even at the beginning, so there were no name on the watches, and you had only the name of the owner of the watch at the beginning. And slowly, so the brands were doing collaboration, because there were some strength here, so the movement, or here, I mean, this company could be to do square watches, and this one the round watch, and this one in ceramic. So everyone was working, I mean, together with another company, and they just added the name. And slowly, for instance, also Elka Watch did collaboration with Narda, with Vulca, with Heuer, with different brands. So then we can see also two names on the same dial. Like, I mean, the two pieces that I'm doing an homage now, the D series and the X series are pieces that are inspired by Nulis Narda, okay, for the D series, and the X is inspired by the Heuer, which was done for Elka. Also, that was a flight instrument for the second one.
Yes, that's amazing. So we've always been in contact ever since we met at Hamilton. And you reached out to me actually very early on when you discovered that there was a Dutch Elka, and we brainstormed, and I congratulated you on your entrepreneurship. And you said, anyways, we brainstormed as friends and talked and said, and then you also asked me, can we do something together? And you didn't even know that I was collecting privately Elka pocket watches, stopwatches, and wristwatches, and that when the Kik family stopped retailing at a very late age because they didn't have children, they had two stores left, one in the Kalverstraat, one in the Leidsestraat. So my dad, brother, and I bought in 2000 the store on the Leidsestraat where we started retailing in the year 2000 and didn't buy the property yet. But Kik's wish was that their brand name stopped with them when they passed away. So to honor their wish, we changed it to Ace. And fortune wants it that my brother and I had the ability to buy the property. So we have deep ties with the Kik history. And you, Em, and I are both aware of it. For me, this is Elka 2.0, Swiss version. So when we start brainstorming to work together, it was a long brainstorm session, and we're very proud to announce today that we launched a watch together. It's an Elka watch in collab with Ace Jewelers, which is a limited edition series of 4 watches named the Diversity. And each are limited to 25 pieces worldwide, one with a Hebrew dial, Eastern Arabic / Hindi, Chinese, and a regular Arabic numerals. And I love the X series from day one when you showed me the prototypes. I actually own one, which I wear and have worn for quite some time. And I always loved your watch. And I was very honored that you gave me the opportunity to do the collab that we're launching today. And we always want to do something cool. You always have a cool angle. From the moment I met you at Hamilton, I knew you wanted to make cool stuff. And the inspiration came actually very late, because the funny story is that the Kalverstraat store of Kik was not taken over, but the whole inventory was bought by my friends from Amsterdam Watch Company. And Roland Tuschia started that company. They were the number one at first vintage watch store in Amsterdam that did the high-end level vintage. And we were always friends, and they knew I collected Kik watches. I even have a chess clock, by the way, by Kik. And they also collect pocket watches, stopwatches. So they found in the old inventory a enamel dial of a pocket watch with Hebrew numbers on it. And they framed it for me and gifted it to me. So one day I was working in my home office, and that frame is up there. And when I saw it, it clicked in my head. And that was the inspiration for Hakim and me to create this collab. Because Hakim, you have a Moroccan mom and a Swiss dad, right? Father. Yeah, of course, with your surname. So you're multicultural. I'm multicultural because my mom comes from Tehran in Iran. My dad comes from Tel Aviv in Israel. And you and I love cultures. We love people. Amsterdam is a multicultural town. So that's the link to the old Elka. So it was such a natural story to create this diversity series. I'm extremely proud that we were able to create it, that you wanted to do it with us. We did already some interviews with the press, some VIP customers, and the results till now were amazing. We chose blue because the ace color is blue. So that's the first series. What would you like to add to that, Hakim?
I think you said everything. So you just have, to show the product, but here online is not feasible. But so there is a box also. There is a box for the 4 watches. They are unlimited, so 25 pieces each. That's it.
I didn't want to go to the commercial route, but so no problem. You can say it, of course. I'm daydreaming, thinking about the journey up until today, which was amazing and great fun. We recorded a video actually last week when this episode airs in Amsterdam, where we share our story as well. So what we decided, the first 7 watches are bundled together in one box, sold as a set. And then from number 8 to 25, each watch is numbered individually, not as one off, but literally 8 of 25, 9 of 25, up to 25 of 25. They are sold separately. First come, first serve. When they're done, that's it. If we literally sell out today, which this episode airs on June 15th, then we might consider doing a new color. We might not. We already created a prototype for a total different design. So Hakim and I like to work with each other. Well, I like to work with you. I hope you like to work with me, Hakim.
Sure.
So we might do the real-time show collab if our dear listeners would like one. So that's great fun. Now, enough about our collab. I want to hear more. So Hakim, you did the X series, which was the foundation of our collab. And what I loved about it is I've always loved watches with minute tracks instead of hours. So our dial features 00 going to 005, running up to 55, ends at 00 again. I believe that there is no other watch out there today that has either in Chinese or Eastern Arabic or Hebrew that runs on numbers. All watches made till today always feature
1, 2, 3.
hours in alphanumerical systems. So I love that aspect of what we've done there. So that's super cool. So you already told what was the inspiration of your original design to create the X series. Talk us please through the D series and what's next for Elka. Where do you want to take the brand?
I'm a creative. So the problem is there are a lot of things already developed. And the problem is I have really now to work on the product I have. Otherwise, I will be lost with all the projects. So where I want to bring the watch, I want to keep the brand small. I don't want to make, a huge brand. I want really to have fun developing the product, developing the marketing, developing the brand. But the idea is really to have small collections, small numbers. So my aim is to continue to do everything by myself. If you are in a big group, that is probably, the question that you asked me before, what I didn't like so much is when you work with a big company, so then you have your own job. You can do, you see, I was a product manager, so I did the product. And then, so you're in the marketing, you do the marketing, you go to the finance and do the finance. And here, developing a brand like mine is something amazing because you touch to the marketing you touch, to the sales you touch, to the finance you touch, to everything. So I'm on the market once a day. I'm on the marketing once a week, sorry. So then it's something really interesting. So then what I want is really, to be able to continue to do something like this, to touch to everything. You can understand everything. You can meet a lot of people, meet a lot of different people, and this is something amazing. So you have the supplier, you have you have the customer, you have the people for the marketing. So it's amazing because it opens you a wide range of fields, and you meet a lot of different people. So then, coming back to your question, yeah, I have a lot of ideas. My idea is to stay with the design in the end of the 60s, because this is the period that I like in terms of design, in terms of interpretation, in terms of look. So this is really what I like. So that will be in this period of time. Now, I will not disclose any information about what is under development. So because I don't know when I will launch them.
Okay, stay tuned and promise that you'll give the scoop to the real-time show. Yes. Hakim, you owe us that. I kind of want to wrap it up here. We are bad salespeople, you and I, because we didn't say where people can order the collab we did. This is a real, true joint project. So watches are sold both on the Elka website, which is AELKAWATCH.ch, or on the Ace Jewelers website, which is ACEJEWELLERS.com. We do honor every wish for a specified limited edition number. You can equally email Hakim or the Ace team. We have a real-time document where we real-time update every piece sold. So we are watch nerds, and we think and behave like watch nerds and honor a watch nerd's wish. I believe they cost 1,966, including VAT in euro, and 1,625 ex-VAT if it's shipped outside the EU. If you're based in Switzerland, contact Hakim. If you're in the EU, contact Ace. If you are outside of both regions, contact either or, whomever you like more. It doesn't matter. This is really a joint project. You can find Hakim as well on Instagram at ELKAWATCHCO. You can reach me on Instagram at ALONBENJOSEPH, and you can always send me any questions, feedback, comment, criticism by email, alon@therealtime.show. My regular co-host, Rob Nuts, couldn't be here today, but you can find him on Instagram at ROBNUDDS, and you can also email him rob@therealtime.show. Hakim, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to all our dear, dear listeners and all our The Real Time Network members. If you want to be a part of our network, reach out to either Rob or me. You can use our website, therealtime.show. Send us a message there. Thank you again, and keep on ticking.